quick episode recap. Yuya's school is on break for the next few days, so he takes this opportunity to finally visit the royal capital for his audience with the king, Arnold. He interrogates Yuya's relationship with his daughter and gets furious when he unknowingly or knowingly seduces Lexia by bringing out bedding as a gift, which symbolizes marriage in their culture. Just as Arnold prepares to attack Yuya for his actions, they are ambushed by assassins who activate the magic sealing orb to weaken the king's guards. But they never expected Yuya to be so strong regardless, and he swiftly takes care of them. While searching the bodies, Owen finds a crest of the prince on them, and the kingdom is put in a state of emergency. He requests Yuya to lend them his strength to quell the rebellion. The news has now spread among the knights of the prince's actions against the royal family, and the king has locked himself away in his room. Recalling Owens' earlier request to him, Yuya heads over to give his reply after contemplating but is interrupted when Lexia happens to walk out of the room. She cordially invites him to take a tour of the capital with her, more than happy to show him around as their guest. But she's ignoring the current circumstance, and Luna criticizes her for trying to go out despite potential dangers. Lexia isn't afraid, however, looking forward to the assassins revealing her brother's location instead. In truth, she just wants to go outside, using Yuya as an excuse to justify it. Luna kindly offers to take Yuya off her hands and give him a tour in her place. Overhearing their conversation, Owen interrupts, offering to give Yuya a tour while the girls remain in the castle, but they aren't having that. He compromises and allows them to take Yuya to look around, but he will be following them from a distance away. The girls each point to a different place to visit, leaving a flustered Yuya to decide as Owen ignores his pleas for assistance. As the girls continue to argue about where to take him, Yuya observes the crowd, noting that he doesn't feel any bloodlust around them at the moment. As they continue their walk around town, he stops in front of a sign, and Luna inquires if he's interested in the Adventurers Guild. He tells them that he's registered with the Merchants Guild on the way to the capital, so he does have some interest in joining given that he fights monsters frequently. Hearing this, she suggests they go register him, informing him that it will make it easier to trade monster materials that way, on top of being able to take on quests for money. Luna wants to register too, because she also wants additional ways to earn income other than as Lexia's guard. Lexia wants to object to Luna, but she quickly follows them inside. She continues to argue against her, attracting the gaze of others around them. Luna placates her, telling her that with Yuya's busy life, she likely won't have many chances to take quests together with him anyways. The clerk passes out the registration forms and asks them to fill it out to register. Yuya wonders if he must also register his familiars, but she states only he and Luna need to do anything. When he gets to the point where it asks about magic type, he realizes current society believes magic has categories, which conflicts with the knowledge Yuya gained from the sage. He has an affinity for all magic, but this would likely shock everyone if it were known. With Lexia warning him before not to let the public know about his teleportation magic, he decides to hold back and only writes down 3 elements of water, wind, and fire, which are what he uses the most. The last section asks about magic energy capacity, and the clerk clarifies that it records how much magical energy a person has, using a crystal that can measure it. To prevent inaccurate information, they use the crystal which changes color depending on the person's magic capacity. Luna's color is yellow, which is on the lower end. Yuya goes next, but upon placing his hand on it, the crystal immediately shatters, shocking the clerk as he had more magic capacity than the crystal could measure. The clerk reads over their forms, making sure that everything is correctly written. Upon reading that Yuya can use 3 types of magic, she is again flabbergasted. Even using 3 elements places him in the realm of legends, and Yuya gets relieved that he didn't write down the whole truth. After confirming his information again, the clerk prepares their guild cards and hands them over. They are registered as F rank, and there aren't any quotas for quests. However, when hunting monsters, they must present a piece of it as proof, and the jobs will be recorded by the guild cards, making lying impossible. As they look for their first job to take, Yuya is suddenly approached by a female mage named Glenna. She got interested in him after seeing the crystal break and suggests that they work together. At the girl's insistence for her to leave, Glenna walks away while stating she looks forward to working with him someday. Lexia wonders if she should register as well, if only to protect Yuya from such women, but that would only make more work for Owen. They've chosen a herb collection quest, and the party searches for medicinal herbs to harvest. Lexia is excited to be able to leave the palace, but Owen would rather she stay still given the current circumstances. She randomly proposes a competition between her and Luna to see who can gather more herbs, with the winner allowed to monopolize Yuya for an entire day. Knight and Akatsuki also want to help, but the herbs they find aren't what he is looking for. Not long after, Owen comes rushing back to inform them that the prince's whereabouts have been identified. He requests Yuya to come with him, and they quickly head over to a detached building the king used to isolate the prince. Yuya notes how quiet it is, but just as they enter, a knight is hit by a thrown blade. The prince is holding a knight hostage, but Knight's agile attack frees the man from him. He is now surrounded by the guards, and Owen requests he quietly surrenders, but the prince would rather hold himself hostage than be captured. As he laments how everyone sees him as a parasite, Yuya reflects on how similar the prince's worldview is to his past self. He appears next to him while dodging all of the prince's wild swings, and the prince eventually trips over Akatsuki and falls to the ground. Owen thanks Yuya for his participation in safely securing the prince, but as they were about to take him away, they are suddenly attacked by strong gusts of wind. The girl the Divine Rabbit had previously fought appears, and the prince seems to recognize her as his ally. She however states that he has failed, and is no longer necessary. He thought she wanted to become someone with power by making him king, but she corrects that she planned to have him wage war against others to kill off the human population. As she swings to get rid of him, Owen interrupts her but is blocked by an arrow. Yuya wonders if there are people outside, but she begins to barrage them with arrows, stating no one else is involved. She has the ability to predict movements, and Owen's attack fails. Her goal is to annihilate all of humanity, and Yuya finally steps in to block her attacks. Owen thanks Yuya, but at the mention of his name, the girl realizes that he is a target she was looking for. Unfortunately, she's used up too much of her stamina just now, and assumes she requires the power of the vial to fight someone like him. She concludes she needs to temporarily retreat and teleports away. Yuya is left wondering who she is.